Good evening, everybody. It's just about 30 minutes after the hour of 7 p.m. Today, the fifth day in the month of April. I am Umar Muhammad, otherwise known as Calypsonian disciple. Now, as a Calypsonian, people usually ask you, disciple, where are they, boy? They have on the corona thing, hoping that everything will turn out fine or everything will come back to normal in the near future. But the fact is that as a calypsonian, you have to observe, you have to look, and you also have to obey like everybody else, stay at home. But should you have to be out necessarily, well then you take notice of what you see. You just don't stand up to spend time, but as you go along, you have your eyes, you have your ears, and so on. So you just get a wink eye of what's going on. And as everyone knows, the topic is the coronavirus. Well, as a citizen of this country, and I must say that I'm not perfect like everybody else, but I'm not a lawbreaker in the sense that I do wrong things. And when I had my car, minor things, I'm going to take a chance and park on the wrong side. But the major things are out of my reach. And if you should see me, you should know that that is not disciple, somebody else walking to him. Yeah, but all in all, that is my way of life ever since I was born. The law, whenever a law is passed, the law is not passed for the obedient person. For if we were all obedient, there wouldn't be any laws, because we would have been expected to do according to our conscience, according to our common sense, and so on. But there seems to be a certain kind of person or people that you must always have laws for them, because they think they are superheroes, and very cheap superheroes. Very cheap superheroes. They hate to see a line. They don't want to line up. They're always trying to, get something in their mentality that I don't have to line up. I go get in there, and let me show you how I go get in there. Right? Or no politician go custom me, I could go down the line. They always seems to be thinking in opposite of the law, especially when the law is to protect themselves from getting into danger. In other words, they don't even think about protecting themselves. They always think that to get away or to do something opposite the law and get away, that they are a superhero. For what? Superhero for what? You're not getting a super set of money. You wouldn't be super healthy. So for what? There are super stupidity people. Super stupid people. Now my experience as I went along, because I don't live rightly in Port of Spain, I'm just from East Dry River, just on the hillside, just about between a 5 to 10 minutes walk from Port of Spain, or let's say a 10 minutes walk. But I had to be in town. It was necessary. I had some unfinished business even before last Sunday, when it was declared that from last Sunday night, midnight, so and so and so and so, as we all know. But as I went along to do the necessary business, and the necessary business is food. We must eat. Food, I went to food. As I said, I had some unsettled business that I had to clear up. Utility bills, And what? Food as usual. Oh yes, I had to go to the hardware to get some materials. That is one of that in itself was some, business, that unsettled business before the law came in about, coming in town and so on and stay at home. But all in all, I'm a homestead person. I'm a nostalgic person. I like to be home. As anybody who know me will know that I don't line from home to the city, from the city to the home. And as fast as I get into the city normally, not because they bring a lot is to home, normally as fast as I get into the city, I try to get what it is I want and get out. Because I don't like sometimes the places smell, the vagrants, the pissy areas, and so on. I try to get out. Not that there isn't any clean place, yes, but sometimes you have to walk and you have to look on the ground because some vagrants stool on the ground or something. You have to just block your nose. Now, last Sunday, not today, which is Sunday, the 5th of April, I went to the market and the line was long, 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 long. I had to leave because after standing up for almost an hour and a half and realizing that by the time I reached in the market, I could have done much more on the outside. I went to Charlotte Street and I purchased my items. Today, I went to the market and I went early to get away from the long line, and it was nice. The line kept moving on and moving on and moving on. But unfortunately, I don't know, some people is either they can't understand English or they like somebody to be hitting them with a stick or some guava whip or something so, or maybe they want somebody to arrest them. Some people just kept close to one another and the police have to come and tell them so many times, look, stand back, you're too close. Oh gosh, it's a simple thing like standing away and there is no matching it because there are lines drawn on the ground so that you know where you have to stand or how many feet away from the person in front of you and also behind you. But some people, I don't know, they just... But as the line went along and I went into the market, I realized that after crossing the line to get into the market, all restrictions, all discipline disappeared. It was like business as usual. And when I saw that, it had me startled and what kind of thing is this? Now, people of Trinidad and Tobago, why do we have to rely on our government or the Ministry of National Security, some police or some soldier to come and tell us what to do or what not to do? We are the government also. Democracy is the government of the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So then we are the government also. So we have to take care of ourselves. We are not babies. We know that the government is working hard together with the security forces to avoid this thing from spreading like wildfire in a small place like this. And we just go along thinking that once there is no police around, there is no soldier, there is not somebody to come in like what they're doing in India and the Philippines, shoot them or beat them with a whip, that we're going to just fall back accordingly. And you are talking about elderly people. Dominantly, or most of the people are elderly people who should be setting an example. And the people were jammed up and they were thinking, and I look at that and I say, look at this thing. You cannot have police everywhere. Remember, it's a pandemic. It's all over. We do not have the amount of police and soldiers and what have you to be running behind everybody, do this, do that, do it everywhere? When we know that if we don't do the right thing, we can get sick. And if you ask anybody, do you want to be sick? They will say no. Would you like to be infected by the coronavirus? They will say no. So then, why don't we use our senses? Hear what's happening. Vendors who have a stall, whether in the market or not in the market, this is my suggestion, and I'm hoping that people follow on that suggestion. If your stall is 6 feet long, only allow 3 persons to stand in front of your stall. Divide that 6 feet into 3. Nowhere around your stall but in front of your stall. So you will have, if it's 6 feet long, you will have 1 person standing in the middle. And you will have 2 persons standing at each end of the stall in front. So therefore, everybody, the 3 persons standing, will have a space of about 3 feet on the left and also on the right. And the other stall from the other vendor should be about 3 feet away so that they don't come close. So that everybody will be standing approximately to the amount of feet that is required or that is lawful. Well, I'm assuming 3 feet. If it's 4 feet, your stall is 8 feet long. 1 customer come in the middle and 1 this and 1 that. The other 2 stay at each end of the stall in front of the stall, so they will be approximately 4 feet away from one another. The other vendor who has a stall now, between his stall and your stall will be approximately 4 feet too. So if it goes like that, everybody will be in tandem, everybody will be in sync. They will synchronize themselves with the law, and things will go good. And the same goes also for the cashier. The cashier now in the supermarket, you are out of the supermarket, you're getting into the supermarket. When you reach in the supermarket, there is no restriction of lines leading to the cashier. So the cashier themselves should have the same line outside of the supermarket. The same lines should be inside so that people will be standing apart from each other in the line to the cashier. And in front of the supermarket, if you think, because I saw something in front of a supermarket, something that was done by people who should know better, around 50 years, and between the ages of 20 to 50. Hear what those people did. They came, they stood up in front of the supermarket door. They watched. I was in the line. I watched one of them and she smiled at me. I said, "Why are you smiling?" I said, "You want to get inside here?" She said, "Yes." I said, "But how can you get inside here?" Right? I have spent almost an hour and a half in this line. There are people in the line who are feeling sick. I heard a woman said that she wants to go to the washroom, but she's trying to keep it in because she does not want to lose her space in the line because there is no washroom in the area. So probably I don't know how far she had to go. There are people suffering from high blood pressure. Standing on your feet for a long time is not good for people suffering from high blood pressure, heart attack. There are people who have other illness, right? And you don't know how people feeling, but you're coming from nowhere. There are old people in the line, young people, everybody, a mix of ages in the line, and you're just standing up hoping to be a superhero for nothing at all. And you're standing up and you want to go inside there. And all your thoughts is just going inside. As soon as you open the door, you went inside. But this supermarket had a woman open the door. And you know what those people did? They barged themselves inside. They went inside. And when the one who saw them said, "You were not in the line," they started to get on, very ignorant. "You were in line. I was in line. You didn't see me." Blah, 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 blah. You didn't have a clap for that way. You didn't have to line up. You got in the line and you get a thing. And when you go home, in front of your children and in front of everybody, you're going to relate to them. "I didn't have to line up. When I go in and me, I don't line up. I get in and everybody line up there. I put some I go in, nobody. She come tell me about. Look, I tell she said, but I wasn't in line, and you know, then can't do me a time went inside. That is the kind of mentality you should have in a condition like this. Supposing it was your child or you had a daughter in the line and she's pregnant or she was feeling ill, would you like to see such a thing happen? Do so and like so. Do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. Probably someday you might be in the line. You might be in a line. And somebody might come to go before you. I am sure the same way how you got on with it, how you got on with the person who was opening the door and said, I was in line, and you tell me, it's the same way you will get on with the person who cheat in front of your daughter or your relative or maybe your grandmother in the line also. Right? And how you could come up here, you know, look at my grandmother, you can't come in front of her, I call on me waiting. So these people are stupid people. They are criminal without a weapon in their hand. I mean, how could you do that? How could you have done such a thing? How could you do such a thing? I stood up and I saw it happening by that supermarket, and it happened twice. These people are like parasites. I mean, oh gosh, you know, I stood up in that line from about 11 to 12:30, but still didn't get in. I was still in the line. And he just come from nowhere, and he looking to see if he could get in. This big, fat, elderly woman, and pushing herself. I mean, how they could do that? How could you display such ignorance in times like these? Now, I was on my way up Charlotte Street. I had just went in the Sing Song supermarket, line very orderly and so on. And as I was passing, as I had passed Pennywise going up, I saw this elderly person. Probably he is older than myself. I'm in my early 70s. I passed in 70, 71 and so on. I going on, moving on. Praise and thanks to the Most High. But I saw this aged man, and I don't know, maybe he just happened to, I don't know how to describe it. He just wanted somebody to talk to. So he came to me, he said, what is really going on in this place? I said, what? He said, boy, you could imagine people have to line up to go in a drugstore, because after you pass Pennywise, there's a drugstore on the right hand side and going up just before you reach KFC. He said, boy, you know, people have to line up. You see what is going on? I said, well, Papi, here what is happening. Everybody cannot rush in the drugstore at the same time because we have to keep apart from one another. So there's restriction in going in the drugstore. We have to discipline ourselves. He up and telling me now, and it was so, how to describe it? For an elderly man, it was so annoying to hear that. So I can say, if you die now. So I said, Papi, are you dying? I said, if you die in the drugstore, it's not the place to go to, you know. You have to get somebody to help you, call help, and rush to the hospital. So if you die now, right? And you have to line up or something. So if you're in pain or whatever it is, I said, well, if you're in pain, what? You know? So I said, Papi, you're not dying. I said, look at you walking. And you're lamenting about lining up to go in the drugstore. You say, well, I just drawn a reference. So I said, well, here, what is Papi? Stop drawing a reference. Right? Stop drawing a reference. Let me think, let it be real. Let us be real. You see what is going on? There is no reference to draw here. You need the master to get on. Right? I said, well, go and draw yourself now. Go and draw yourself. Just going in. Right? If you could draw, I don't know if you could draw. Get pencil, paper, and draw yourself. Just going in. The pharmacy or the drugstore, just like that. He got more vexed. He was just sitting and watching me and see what like we want last night. I said, what really going on in this place, boy? Old people too? Like everybody on a hyper thing? Yeah. Everybody just want to do things accordingly. But as I've said before, if you ask any one of them who want to push and get in the line, if they want to be sick, they will say no. So supposing that when he went to push in the line, that person had cough or sneeze, and that person didn't put his or her hand in such a way to avoid it from spreading on you. I am certain that would have been a personal uproar by you. Is the person coughing? What you going? But then, you understand what I'm saying? You push your way into that. Sometimes you cheat, and you do not know that go Paul luck ain't see Paul luck. So because you cheat, nothing shouldn't happen to you. My people of Trinidad and Tobago, we are not perfect. I went to the market this morning, and when I reached a certain way, I rest down my 2 bags. It was kind of heavy, and I was walking home. I saw the police pass. They were watching me. I was waiting for the police to say, because I was speaking to a partner of mine, just on the walk over by Eastside Plaza, yes, by the Sunset Police Station. I was waiting for them to tell me what they're doing. Well, I would have politely answered them and said, officer, I'm just on the market. I'm with my partner here. I'm taking a little rest. And, well, most likely, he might have told me, well, don't overdo it, continue, and whatever. We have to obey, because we are not obeying because of the government. We are not obeying because of some other stupid reason. We are obeying because it is for our own right. As I've just heard the Minister of Health saying, we don't want nobody to beat us with any big stick. I have seen on the internet in India, people getting lost, right? I know if we do such a thing like that in Trinidad, then people will be talking about human rights and I right to lash me and all, So in the Philippines, I think they want to shoot people. So you know how I look at it? Trinidadians, we have a spoiled set of people because we have not gone through certain conditions, drastic conditions, right? Disastrous conditions as people on the outside, even here in the Caribbean, have gone through. So we are spoiled. We want to go down to online. Oh, there's this, we want to do like when the hurricane is coming or when it is threatening. We want to go online. That's nothing. God is a Trinity. Well, if God is a Trinity, right? Remember, you are not God. Just remember that. What you think is God, you are not God. You are not omnipotent. You are not all-powerful. Perhaps you could be a God in your own way, for ye are gods and children of the Most High. But even gods and children of the Most High must follow the law. You ain't see all them pastors, all them priests, all the Orisha people who making offering, all the priests, the 12 tribes, all the holy Adao and all of them. But in particular, the pastors and them who always anointing people and healing the sick and so on, praying, and as the scripture says, if you ask for a bread, you wouldn't get a stone, and talking about what? Today's a day of a miracle. Nobody receiving no miracle. The miracle that we have to receive is the miracle of obeying so that it will not be like wildfire amongst us. So when you do all your church, that for you and you're indoors in your church business or what have you, right? Always talk about a miracle and this and that and this, all that is for you and the members in the church. All you know how always do that. But I know that all you ain't doing that out here, right? And I ain't seen any one of you all, or I've never heard, pandemically speaking, throughout the world, I've never heard of any one of you all instantly healing people from the coronavirus. So all the this and that and this and that, whether it be Jesus, Allah, what have you, Olodumare, what have you, I ain't hear that. If I definitely know, the government know that there is somebody from either the Orisha, the Baptist, the 12th side, the Hindu, what have you, that healing people, and it's a reality, they are healing people immediately, instantly, the government will be glad. The government will be glad. Perhaps if you could get 10 of those people in Trinidad, you won't have the cause to spend money, or you won't have the cause to get anything from the outside, right? And then Trinidad will really be a paradise, and God will really be a Trinity. My people, Umar Muhammad, calypsonian disciple, to all my families and everybody, have a protective and a safe and obedient time around this time of the year, what it is going on. I have to be in tongue because, let me say this, poor people sometimes have to be regularly in tongue. I try to study, but look when I look around, right? I need to get some water. Even though I try to get everything in bulk, I need to get some water because I don't drink pipe water. I don't want to get sick after all this coronavirus pass, and I need to get the kind of water that I should get, alkaline water and so on. So I have to go for my water, right? I have to go for my water. I don't have people around me, right? So I have to go for some water. I have to go there to get my food, right? Well, I'm praying that I store as much as possible and try to alleviate the situation so that I won't be in town as much as possible. But anytime anybody see me in town, whether coronavirus or not, they know they always see me moving. I'm in, I go, I get what it is I want, and I get out. And I'm trying to do it in a better way under these conditions. Calypsonian disciple from East Drive River, Port of Spain. And don't forget, if you have a stall and it is 6 feet long, you can have one person standing in the middle of the stall and 2 persons standing only in the front of the stall at the 2 ends of the stall on the right and the left. So therefore, they will have enough space between them. Okay? Have a good night. Thank you very much, everybody.